listening to Only the Best Herbs. Welcome to Only the Best Herbs, the podcast where the ancient wisdom of herbal healing meets the groundbreaking discoveries of now 2024. Today, I am joined by a very special guest, Kathy Guastella. Hi, Kathy. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you, Ryan?
I'm doing fantastic. So, I wanted to get to know you a little bit better. We have met before at the New Baltimore Trade Center. We talk on a regular, I would say, and keep up. And I would even consider us friends. So I appreciate everything that you have, the tips and just being there and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me today.
For sure. So, tell me a little bit about yourself. What exactly do you do as far as your business?
Well, my business, I've been doing with the essential oil part of it, I've been doing it about 14 years. When I retired from my day job, I went to Gibraltar Trade Center and opened up like a little shop there. I had the essential oils and salt lamps and things like that. Well, when the trade center closed, I opened up another little place in St. Clair Shores, and salt lamps weren't really selling anymore because at that point, they were pretty saturated. Home Depot had them and really cheap. So when I opened up at the New Baltimore Trade Center, I came in with one little box of crystals, tumbles, and everybody wanted more crystals. So I knew enough about them for my own personal use, not enough to guide people or help share them or whatever. And in 5 years that I've been there now, that's the bulk of my sales is the crystals. And originally I started essential oils about 28 years ago.
Wow.
And 19 years ago I went to France and studied there. So they've basically been my medicine. Very rarely do I go to the doctor. And I just try a holistic approach to living. Just try to be as clean as I can as far as avoiding chemicals.
That's a big thing right now, and it's been a big adjustment for a lot of people. And it's kind of been like a trending thing lately, which is cool to see. A lot of things that I've been getting involved, it's really weird. A lot of things that I've gotten involved in the past, since I've started my business, have really picked up. So it's definitely cool to be a part of that. And you have definitely been a part of that for the last, 2 decades? Right?
I was like a pioneer.
Right, exactly my point.
Yeah, there was very few places you could reach out to here in Michigan. That 28 years ago, and I grow and learn and change as I'm learning more and more and trying different products. Essential oils will always be a factor, but I've added crystals now more, but just doing like supplements, things like that. I try them. If they work, I keep them. If they don't work, then I move on and try something else, which is, I never really did the CBD until I met you.
Yeah, really?
I tried it here and there with some other people, but it just didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Where I find the products that you have worked the most.
I appreciate that.
And I incorporate that in with the essential oils and my supplements that I take.
That's awesome. You say you've seen results, right? You feel a little bit more calm. Will feel like a little bit more balanced.
Absolutely. Mostly when I do the CBD is at night and helps me to sleep a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the essential oils work, this is your body every day is something different going on, and you have to incorporate and mix and do other things too. It's not a one-stop solution. And especially when you're dealing with holistic products. It's not like here, take this pain pill. You're not going to have any pain.
People don't understand that.
No.
Because they want the quick fix.
That's what they've been taught, and that's what they've been used to. When you start a holistic journey, you have to do what feels good in here and here. That's the way I think about it. If it makes sense to both areas, to my heart and my thoughts, then that's what my guiding force is.
Yeah, that's really awesome. And when I got to the new Baltimore Trade Center, and when we met, you were somebody I gravitated towards because I could tell that we had a common interest or like a common goal, and it was refreshing. It was refreshing to see because I don't see anything like that around my area. We live in the Metro Detroit area. There are cannabis and dispensaries all over the place. And around the Detroit area, there is a dispensary if not every mile, even less. I mean, let's say 8 Mile, for example. All the way down 8 Mile, dispensary.
Because people are not looking for health; they're looking to get high.
Right.
That's a
huge difference.
That's not health. When you're masking your feelings, it's not health.
I will say THC is a cannabinoid, right? But people take it to the 30th power, the 100th power. They're just sitting around all day, and they're just going somewhere else. They're going to a place, you're not functioning, right?
Right.
So, THC cannabis definitely has a lot of very medicinal properties, right?
Absolutely. When you're incorporating it with the other cannabinoids.
Right. So then you get like the full spectrum, or the entourage effect.
Yes.
So there's a lot. They're definitely, I believe 100% in THC, but like for reasons you just said, it's, if you take too much CBD, you're gonna go to sleep. But getting back to you and the crystals, why exactly did you start working with crystals?
Well, like I said, I knew a little bit about them, just enough for my own self, like for calming, energetic, meditating, things like that. But when I opened up more into it and started to learn more about it, it just makes sense that it's going to function on another level as far as...
There's like a human connection to
it. Yes.
There you can feel it.
Well, it's part of the earth, as are plants. So exactly. Therefore, you have your CBD, you have your THC, you have essential oils. Those all are plant-based. Well, now, the rocks now are becoming a mineral base. And what are our bodies? They're not plant.
Right, they're organic.
They're organic. And we have minerals. So all those things are going to incorporate and function, I think, together on a different level than just one isolated. And people that are just using CBD might benefit more if they incorporate some of the crystals or some of the meditation in with that, and maybe a little bit of the cannabis or mushroom or whatever. But you can only try one thing at a time and see how it affects each item. You can't just say, I'm going to try all these things now all at once.
Because you don't know what's working if you do that.
Absolutely.
You got like this. You got like all these effects going on, and I guess I like them. I like them all, and I do know a lot of people who eventually get to that point. Like, oh, I like THC, but and then they go from here to there to there, and I completely agree with that.
Well, you have to decide for yourself what is going to help and benefit you. Another thing that I incorporate is the Reiki, the energy work. And definitely crystals amplify that. I have several different crystals that I use for myself when I do a self Reiki, or a client will come in and I'll have them hold one or another, or place them on their body, depending on if I'm doing a home where I go to the home with my table and do energy work that way, I can place crystals on them. But I can't really do that if they're sitting up in a chair at my shop.
For sure. So when you're doing these, this meditation with the crystals, and you're trying to clear your mind and you're trying to get to that balanced state, right? What can you kind of explain to me what that feels like when you're doing it?
It's kind of almost like an outer body experience. Sometimes I feel radiant, like it's radiating out of me. Other times I feel like I'm bringing in the life force.
That's interesting.
And it kind of like just settles you. If that makes sense.
Depending on what crystal or what you're meditating on, or what maybe you're intending, or what you want to happen, or manifestation type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You can use crystals for manifestation. I believe that it's kind of like the what you dwell on is what you get. So if you dwell on more negativity, you're going to get more negativity. If you want to dwell on more positive, more enlightening, more enriching, it's going to work that way for you too, I believe.
And that's something that takes, I would say, practice. It takes consistency.
Meditating also does take practice. When I first started, I'm like, I don't know if I'm doing this right. Because you think you're supposed to be quiet and not hear things. Well, that's not the case. Your thoughts are going to come in and go out and ebb and tide and flow continually through the whole meditating process. When I first was learning how to meditate, I was learning with the guy that I took Reiki through. And he lived in an apartment in Royal Oak. Well, we're right off Woodward. We're hearing all this noise. I'm like, how can we meditate? And trust me, it took a couple of tries before I was able to really just let it all go and take it all in.
For those who don't know about Woodward in Michigan, Woodward is one of the main roads that kind of goes in and out of Detroit. It's very, there's a lot of, you will find if you go a few miles, either way, it's the whole scenery of the Metro Detroit area, or like what you're doing or where you're going is always, it's just very, how do you say, diverse. You got the good and you got the bad on both. Very good, very bad. So it's
loud though.
It's loud.
You hear doors, you hear people, and living in an apartment complex, you hear doors and people and smells, people cooking, and it was
hard.
It was at first, but if you can get into that environment and get what you need to take out of it, that on his plane where he was at, it was amazing.
That's awesome. That you got to learn from somebody like that to channel. And that kind of gets me to my next point about people who have been doing this for 10, 15, 20 years plus. Those people but I'm seeing more people educating how to do that, because you deciding that you're like, hey, I want to start doing this, and you just try and you have no idea how, like you said, it's definitely important to have someone to talk to, an instructor, I don't want to say a consultant, but someone who teaches you how to...
A guide.
Right, someone, exactly.
Yeah.
So I would definitely encourage anyone who is looking into essential oils or who is looking into crystals to reach out to Kathy. Kathy, go ahead, give us your information.
Well, I don't really have a website. I tried that. It just doesn't work for me. I'm old school.
Right.
You can find me on Facebook, KatsEssentials. It's all one word. You can find me on Google. I get a lot of people finding me on Google. Just search holistic or metaphysical. And I am located in New Baltimore at the New Baltimore Trade Center, KatsEssentials, and you'll find me on those social media sites.
Mm-hmm. You got a phone number possibly?
Yes, it's area code 586-868-3420. And it texts me because sometimes if I don't recognize a number, I don't answer it.
Right, spam.
Yeah, absolutely.
Way too much.
So text me first if you have any questions, or you can email me too at katguas@comcast.net.
Sweet. We're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Only the Best Herbs. So now we're going to have to talk about your past again.
Okay.
So we're gonna talk about that. I think we okay. So tell us about what got you into alternative and natural medicines, essential oils, crystals.
Well, in 1995 we had moved, and I get a call from my doctor that I needed more testing, and I was essentially diagnosed with breast cancer. And the first thing that we discussed was a lumpectomy to make sure, that it was cancerous. And that's what they did. They did a lumpectomy. They found clear margins. It hadn't gone into the lymph nodes, so all they recommended was this drug called tamoxifen, which they told me was a hormone blocker because the cancer was estrogen positive. So I agreed to take that. And then about 18 months later, they said I had a reoccurrence, which, let me back that up a little bit, sorry. About a year after being on the tamoxifen, I was having such severe migraines. So they took me off. And then about another 8 months later, when I went back for my mammogram, they saw something suspicious, so they did a lumpectomy and said, yes, the cancer reoccurred. Well, if it hadn't gone into my lymph nodes, my thought was it was there before, they just didn't see it, which is a possibility. It was so small. But then now they wanted to do chemo after they did remove the breast. Well, when they did the surgery, they found there was no cancer in the lymph nodes yet again. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, if there's no cancer in my body, why would I want to do chemo? And the reason I went that way is because a friend of mine borrowed me a book called Cancer: A Battle Plan. And in that book, it talked a lot about chemo because it was written by a guy whose wife had gone through all that. And I did some studies and some research, and that's not the way I want to go. And so I got into more holistic stuff. The book said to find a massage therapist, so that's the first thing I did. And when I got to her location where she was doing the massage, she had a whole holistic store set up, basically. She had a chelation therapy, she had colonics, vitamin therapy, yoga, tai chi. She had a multitude of different kinds of natural ways of your body functioning. So she was doing Reiki, which is the energy work, and then she just started getting into the essential oils. And then about 10 years after that, we went to France. She invited me to go with her there to study. So that's really what got me more into the essential oils. I can tell you maybe 5 times since probably 1998 that I've been to a doctor.
That is definitely admirable because I don't think 99% of the population would go that route, and that's awesome. That's awesome.
Well, if you give your body what it needs,
Mm,
it can take care of itself.
mm,
That's the way I look at it. And giving it what it needs is plugging. It's like if you're taking a medication that's synthetic, or if you're using synthetic products, it's like trying to fit a square plug into a round hole.
mm,
It might go in, but is it going to seal a leak?
right. That's a good analogy. I like that. I like that.
Your body can't function unless you're giving it what it needs, what it requires, or what it can respond to, what it recognizes.
What would you say those things are exactly?
Anything that I believe that the earth provides us, whether it's plant or mineral. And if you're surrounded by pollution, you have to detox that pollution out.
Environment is everything. Whatever your environment, I mean, it's the most important factor in my opinion. You know, people gripe, and people don't think that plays a major role in their life. But if you had structure growing up and you had people using alternative medicine to growing up, you're most likely going to grow up to be kind of having those same morals and same ethics and same thought process as you did when you grew up, because you learn those, you know, that time of your life when you're a child is really when you learn all of those key beliefs, you know. And that's why I think it's important that we do things like this and we have conversations like this and people watch and listen to things like this, because I think it's something that is completely pushed under the rug, right? So,
well, if you think about it, big pharma has taken control of our health.
Pretty much.
And what doctors are taught, they've taken control of that. They've gotten away from the holistic approaches and more into the medications that are synthetically made. And they really don't, I'm not saying all doctors, but they don't think beyond the box. They went to school, they learn this, and they stay in that box.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. Doctors, when you go to let's say you go to a gastro doctor, right? If you try talking about anything else that's outside of gastro, you ain't getting a response. But we'll talk to them. I don't know. You know, no one's gonna give you a recommendation on something they don't specialize in, but they're gonna try to convince you that their way is it. You know.
Yeah.
And a lot of these medications out there are actually inspired by plant medicine.
Well, that's where they get their main, but then they synthesize it and turn it into synthetics that your bodies are not going to recognize. So they're jacking, pardon my French, they're jacking off the plant world and turning it into something that it's not.
Right, and profiting off it.
There's a big profit in that.
You know, so it's just funny how the world works, and we just need to take a step backwards here, in my opinion. You know, obviously things aren't going to change like overnight, and people will probably think a lot of the stuff I say is bullshit, and a lot of the stuff you say is bullshit, and that's okay.
That's their prerogative.
Right, that's okay. That's okay to think that, because your lifestyle choices. You know, for example, I take CBD every day. I feel pretty fucking good. I feel pretty good. You have, you know, and I have crystals here in the house. I don't practice like Reiki or anything, but just, you know, that's something I would definitely be open to as well. And we had talked about not knowing how to use crystals, for example, and that goes with all other alternative medicines. You don't know really enough about CBD to use it the right way, or you don't know enough about this to use it the right way. So there's always, you always want to, I don't want to use the word consult, but you always want to have a guide, and you had mentioned that. You know, you want to have a guide that teaches you the right way to do things, and that's kind of where you come in, I would say, as well, having 20 plus years of experience doing that, going to France to study on more of it. I mean, this is a real thing. This isn't something that, it's not a hobby.
No.
And I think that's something that people get mixed up in. This isn't something that you do on the side. This is a lifestyle choice. Like, this is
it's a lifestyle makeover, and you don't just learn it in one episode. Just like turn your TV on and watch a TV episode. Like I said, I've evolved. I didn't just start. I didn't just get to where I am after 20 plus years in one leap.
Usually it takes people, I think, to go through an event, kind of like you had mentioned in your past, to
Absolutely.
really evaluate what is best for them. Do you want to live? Do you not care? You know, that's kind of like the choices. And if you're, you know, you can choose to trust your doctor. You can choose to do whatever you please. But at the end of the day, kind of like we had mentioned, all of these practices had to have originated from somewhere, and that's where we're at, and that's what you offer. You know, that's what you offer. You offer a different way to do things, and it has shown to work.
Yes, and if you incorporate that with Western medicine,
right,
you might find that you'll use less of the Western medicine because you're getting better benefits or equal, not equal, but partnership. I'm not saying I never take an aspirin,
right,
but that's very rare.
Try not to.
Yeah. It's a lifestyle change, and that's the way I choose. When I first got into it all, my son was 9 years old when I was diagnosed. He needed his mother to be here.
For sure.
You know, I've been fortunate, and I just want to be able to help and share and get the word out there that there is a better way.
For sure. I agree with that. Of course.
Absolutely.
Just kind of wanted to remind our listeners and our viewers that Kat is always available. How about you share our information one more time?
Yep, you can reach out to me on Facebook. It's KatsEssentials. It's all one word. You can find me on Google, same place, KatsEssentials. You can Google alternative or metaphysical shops near me. I'm located in New Baltimore, Michigan. And you can also find me on email is katguas@comcast.net. And my phone number is 586-868-3420. I do recommend if you want to speak with me, text me first, because I don't always answer the phone if I don't recognize it. A lot of times I will call that number back if it doesn't say spam on my phone.
I want to point out that Kat has a lot of different unique crystals, a lot of different shapes, a lot of different minerals, a lot of different crystal stones, ways to do that. You have your Reiki, you have the chakra, what do you call that?
The Reiki energy work?
Yeah, like what are you wearing there on your neck, right there?
Oh, this is Larimar and this is Aquamarine. These are both very calming, and they bring a sense of balance from nature through water. That's
your body's made up of water.
Yeah, my interpretation. So I knew that I would be speaking, and I wanted to be able to reflect in a positive way my feelings, because a lot of times I can't speak publicly.
Right.
I get tongue-tied, so this kind of helped.
I can definitely see that. My whole thing doing with this podcast is comfortability and being a safe place for people to open up about their past, open up about alternative medicines and how it's helped them and how it's affected them. Because without these success stories and without these people putting in the work to make this happen, we aren't ever going to see any type of change. We aren't going to see things go in a different direction. You know, we might not have people. We might not have more pioneers in this world.
Yeah, absolutely.
To change, you know, to help make those changes. So keeping the flow going, and you know, because this isn't an easy thing. This is not. I would not say this is the easiest market to be in at all.
No, not at all.
Because us as a business owner or the message we're trying to convey to people is not something that they're used to hearing. It's foreign, and you know.
Well, there's different parts of the United States where it's more acceptable. Because it's been around a lot longer.
Right.
And like I said, back in '95, there was nothing here in Michigan. Very few and far and in between. Royal Oak, we talked about that city. They probably had a few things going on there. Charlotte Irwin was the grace of God that sent me to her, because it opened up the whole new world of opportunity. I am the one that chose to learn more. She offered some of the experience, but I went over, you know, I followed what made sense to me.
I'm not sure if we missed this or not, but another important thing, I'm gonna have you explain this again, is the feeling you get when practicing meditation and practicing with these crystals, you know, and presence.
Well, you feel, sometimes it feels like an outer body experience, like you're looking at somebody else, but you're really not. You're internalizing it, and you're feeling it as if you're somebody else.
Wow.
Like,
but this takes training, right? Takes
absolutely. Yeah. As again, in the book that my friend gave me, it said to practice meditation. So I went and got some. Back then, it was just cassette tape. There was no CDs or anything.
No USB, no Bluetooth.
Yeah, no. Well, they had self-guided meditation, and I found one called the Healing Waterfall. What that does, it takes you through a guided meditation where you're seeing all these different colors, and you're healing your body visually by visualizing it in your mind.
Intending.
Yes. And I did that every night before I went to bed, or sometimes I would just sit in the chair and put it on and listen to it. And in fact, when I had my second surgery, going in, I brought that headset with me, and they let me have it in. Now, whether they took it off of me or not, I don't know. But when I came out of the sedation, I had the headset back on, and the thing was playing.
That's really cool story. I mean, it's not. I mean, it sucks for you, but you know, that's like a very. It shows your beliefs. You know?
Yes.
It shows how passionate you are about it, how much you believe in it. I believe in it. I think. I mean, they have exactly what you're talking about. Sounds from nature that help. You know, you're just talking about that, how people get green noise, brown noise type of thing.
All part of it's included with meditation, I would think, yeah. And the hospital thought I was crazy because I brought in my juices that I had juiced and all different, my essential oils. And they didn't care. They just said, yeah, go ahead.
Whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, they did. I was surprised.
So, kind of to wrap things up a little bit, I wanted to thank you for coming on the show. I wanted to highlight I think in my professional opinion, Southeast Michigan area, you are very, I would say, very respected as a crystal person in the area. A lot of people know of you. A lot of people have bought crystals from you. You have an extensive collection of crystals available, things to practice, I even got myself the Tree of Life board,
Mm-hmm.
right, where I got,
absolutely.
I got like a beacon of hope in my business right now, and it attracts good energy, and there's a lot of different things going on. And I will tell you, when I'm in here, I feel at home, I feel good. I'm not sure if that's just like the energy I'm putting out, or if it's a combo of the both, or, but, this business is my safe space. And, I'm glad that you get to be a part of this. I wanted people to hear your story because it's very inspirational.
Thank you.
I think you deserve to tell it.
Thank you so much.
Just wanted to thank everyone for listening. I would recommend anybody who is interested in learning more about any of the things that we've talked about in this episode to reach out to Kathy. I consult with Kathy when I get new crystals. If I have any questions, she always helps me out. I ask her for advice. Encourage you to do the same thing. Just only call, email away.
Or come see me at New Baltimore Trade Center.
Yeah.
KatsEssentials. I'm shop number 108. Come in the front doors, turn to the right, and I'm on the left.
I've been there, and I'll most likely be there again. So, we'll wrap it up. Anything else you got to say?
No, just thank you for having me, and I appreciate you thinking about me to come on the show.
It will not be the last.
Well, thank you.
So, appreciate everyone for listening. Feel free to reach out to us with your experience, questions, or even just to say hello. Until next time, take care of yourself and one another. Embrace the power of nature. Stay curious, stay inspired, and most importantly, stay connected. It's been a pleasure to be part of your day today. You think you have what it takes to be only the best? Reach out to us. Operations@surgeonsolutions.org.